Good evening. It is April 11th. We are going to be reading in Joshua 1 through 4:24, Luke 14:7 through 35, Psalms 81 through 19, and Proverbs 12:27-28. Every evening we like to do the Lord's Prayer, so join in with me if you don't mind. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Joshua 3:1 through 4:24. Make sure we're up and running. Okay. Joshua, who was up early and on his way from Shittim with all the people of Israel with him, he arrived at the Jordan and camped before crossing over. After 3 days, leaders went through the camp and gave out orders to the people. When you see the covenant chest of God, your God, carried by the Levitical priests, start moving. Follow it. Make sure you keep a proper distance between you and it, about a half a mile. Be sure now to keep your distance, and you'll see clearly the route to take. You've never been on this road before. Then Joshua addressed the people. Sanctify yourselves. Tomorrow God will work miracle wonders among you. Joshua instructed the priests, take up the chest of the covenant and step out before the people. So they took it up and processed before the people. God said to Joshua, this very day I will begin to make you great in the eyes of Israel. They'll see for themselves that I'm with you in the same way that I was with Moses. You will command the priests who are carrying the chest of the covenant. You are to come to the edge of the Jordan's waters. Stand there on the riverbank. And Joshua addressed the people of Israel. Attention, listen to what God, your God, has to say. This is how you'll know that God is alive among you. He will completely dispossess before you the Canaanites, Hittites, Hivites, Perizzites, Gerashites, Amorites, and Jebusites. Look at what's before you, the chest of the covenant, or the ark of the covenant. Think of it, the master of the entire earth is crossing the Jordan as you watch. Now take 12 men from the tribes of Israel, one man from each tribe. When the soles of the feet of the priests carrying the chest of God, master of all the earth, touch the Jordan water, the flow of water will be stopped. The water coming from upstream will pile up in a heap. And that's what happened. The people left their tents to cross the Jordan, led by the priests carrying the chest of the covenant. When the priests got to the Jordan and their feet touched the water at the edge, the Jordan overflows its banks throughout the harvest. The flow of water stopped. It piled up in a heap. A long way off at Adam, which is near Zarethan, the river went dry all the way down to the Arabah Sea, the Salt Sea. And the people crossed, facing Jericho. And there they stood. Those priests carrying the chest of the covenant stood firmly planted on dry ground in the middle of the Jordan, while all Israel crossed on dry ground. Finally, the whole nation was across the Jordan, and not one wet foot. So that's twice God stopped the waters and parted them so they could cross. How can you not believe if you're Israel, the chosen people, if you've seen it twice? It's just insane. When the whole nation was finally across, God spoke to Joshua. Joshua, select 12 men from the people, a man from each tribe, and tell them from right here, the middle of the Jordan, where the feet of the priests are standing firm, take 12 stones, carry them across with you, and set them down in the place where you're camping tonight. Joshua called out to the 12 men whom he selected from the people of Israel, one man from each tribe. Joshua directed them, cross to the middle of the Jordan and take your place in front of the chest of God, your God. Each of you heft a stone to your shoulder, a stone for each of the tribes of the people of Israel, so you'll have something later to mark the occasion. When your children ask you, what are these stones for? You'll say, the flow of the Jordan was stopped in front of the chest of the covenant of God as it crossed the Jordan. Stopped in its tracks, these stones are a permanent memorial for the people of Israel. The people of Israel did exactly as Joshua commanded. They took 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan, a stone for each of the 12 tribes, just as God has instructed Joshua, carried them across with them to the camp, and set them down there. Joshua set up the 12 stones, taken from the middle of the Jordan, that had marked the place where the priests who carried the chest of the covenant had stood. They are still there today. The priests carrying the chest continued standing in the middle of the Jordan until everything God had instructed Joshua to tell the people to do was done, confirming what Moses had instructed Joshua. The people crossed. No one dawdled. Dawdled, it's not a word we use very often. When the crossing of all the people was complete, they watched as the chest of the covenant and the priests crossed over. The Rebulites, Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh had crossed over in battle formation in front of the people of Israel, obedient to Moses' instructions. All told, about 40,000 armed soldiers crossed over before God to the plains of the Jericho, ready for battle. God made Joshua great that day in the sight of Israel. They were in awe of him, just as they had been in awe of Moses all his life. God told Joshua, command the priest carrying the chest of the covenant, chest of the testimony. Keep wanting to say Ark of the Covenant, sorry. The chest of the testimony to come up from the Jordan. Joshua commanded the priests, come up from the Jordan. They did it. The priests carrying God's chest of the covenant came up from the middle of the Jordan. As soon as their soles of the priests' feet touched dry land, the Jordan waters resumed their flow within the banks just as before. The people came up out of the Jordan on the 10th day of the first month. They came up camp at the Gilgal, the circle. The Gilgal means the circle, to the east of Jericho. Joshua erected a monument at the Gilgal, using the 12 stones they had taken from the Jordan. And then he told the people of Israel, in the days to come, when your children ask their fathers, what are these stones doing here? Tell your children this: Israel crossed over this Jordan on dry ground. Yes, God your God dried up the Jordan waters for you until you had crossed, just as God your God did at the Red Sea, which he dried up before as until he was crossed. He did at the Red Sea, which had dried up before us until we had crossed. That didn't sound right. This was so that everybody on earth would recognize how strong God's rescuing hand is, so that you would hold God in solemn reverence always. Break down Joshua 3 1 through 4:24, and this is where the stories get really good. The walls of Jericho and all the things are coming up here in the next few days. God parts the Jordan River just like he did at the Red Sea, showing us he's still the same God, just in a new season. The priest, man, that's deep. Man, that's really deep. Hang on. Computer's acting up. Okay. Wow. The priests step in first, faith before results, and the people follow. Then God tells them to stack 12 stones as a reminder. The takeaway: move when God says move, even if the water hasn't parted yet, and don't forget to build reminders of what God has already done. Ouch. Okay, good enough. I get that. Thank you, Lord. Luke 14:7 through 35. And he, Jesus, went on to tell the story to the guests around the table. Noticing how each had tried to elbow into the place of honor, he said, when someone invites you to dinner, don't take the place of honor, which in my opinion means the head of the table. Someone more important than you might have been invited to be the host. That's what that means. Then he'll come and call you out in front of everyone. You're in the wrong place. The place of honor belongs to this man. Embarrassed, you'll have to move and make way for the very last table, the only place left. When you're invited to dinner, go and sit in the last place. Then, when the host comes, he may very well have said, friend, come up to the front. That will give the dinner guests something to talk about. What I'm saying is, if you walk around all high and mighty, you're going to end up flat on your face. But if you're content to being simple yourself, you will become more than yourself. Okay, highlight moment. That's good. But if you're content to be simply yourself, you'll become more than yourself. That's so good. Then he turned to the host. The next time you put on a dinner, don't just invite your friends and family and rich neighbors, the kind of people who will return the favor. Invite some people who never get invited, the misfits from the wrong side of the tracks. You'll be and experience a blessing. They won't be able to return the favor, but the favor will be returned. Oh, how it will be returned at the resurrection of God's people. That triggered a response from one of the guests. How fortunate the one who gets to eat dinner in God's kingdom. Jesus followed up, yes, for there was once a man who threw a great dinner party and invited many. When it was time for dinner, he sent out his servant to the invited guests, saying, come on in, the food's on the table. Then all began to beg off, one after another, making excuses. The first said, I bought a piece of property that I need to look over. Send my regrets. Another said, I bought 5 teams of oxen. I really need to check on them. Send my regrets. And yet another, I just got married and need to go home to my wife. The servant went back and told the master what had happened. He was outraged and told the servant, quickly get out into the city, in the streets and alleys, collect all who look like they need a square meal, all the misfits, all the homeless, and all the down and out. And you can lay your hands on and bring them here. The servant reported back, Master, I did what you commanded, and there's still room. The master said, then go to the country roads, whoever you can find, drag them in. I want my house full. Let me tell you, not one of those originally invited is going to get as much a bite as at my dinner table. One day, when large groups of people were walking around with him, Jesus turned and told them, anyone who comes to me but refuses to let go of father, mother, spouse, children, brothers, sisters, yes, even one's own self, can be can't be my disciple. Anyone who won't shoulder his own cross and follow behind me can't be my disciple. Is there anyone here who, planning to build a new house, doesn't first sit down and figure out the costs so you'll know if it can be complete or not? If you only get the foundation laid and then run out of money, you're going to look pretty foolish. Everyone passing by will poke fun at you. He started something he couldn't finish. Or can you imagine a king going into battle against another king without first deciding whether it's possible with his 10,000 troops to face the 20,000 troops on the other, the 20,000 troops of the other? And if he decides he can't, won't he send an emissary to work out a truce? Simply put, if you're not willing to take what is dearest to you, if you're not willing to take what is dearest to you, whether plans of people, and kiss it goodbye, you can't be my disciple. Salt is excellent, but if the salt goes flat, it's useless, good for nothing. Are you listening to this? Are you really listening? The breakdown of Luke 14:7 through 35, Jesus hits pride, priorities, and cost. Don't chase the best seat. Humble yourselves. Invite people who can't repay you. Following him isn't casual. Following him isn't casual. It costs everything, even relationships, comfort, and your own plans. The takeaway: humility gets lifted. Even if you're going to follow Jesus, count the cost. This isn't halfway commitment. And where I'm at in my relationship with my wife, we've been together about 10 years and been married this October will be 8. I know that God put her in place, in the right place at the right time. And I know that that's where God is taking me, that is not a relationship that I will have to sever, because she is a very godly woman and supports everything that I do. And I couldn't be happier where I'm at in a relationship wise with God. That's always growing, but in a relationship with my spouse and my children, that's good. Psalms 81 through 19. Listen, shepherd, Israel's shepherd, get all your Joseph sheep together, throw beams of light from your dazzling throne, so Ephraim, Benjamin, and Manasseh can see where they're going. Get out of bed, you've slept long enough. Come on the run before it's too late. Come, God, come back, smile your blessing, smile. That will be your salvation. God, God of angel armies, how long will you smolder like a sleeping volcano? Will your people call for fire and brimstone? You put us on a diet of tears, bucket after bucket of salty tears to drink. You make us look ridiculous to our friends. Our enemies poke fun day after day. God of the army angels, come back. Smile your blessing, smile. That will be your salvation. Remember how you brought a young vine from Egypt, cleared out the brambles and briars, and planted your very own vineyard. You prepared the good earth, you planted her deep roots, the vineyard filled the land, your vine soared high and shaded the mountains, even dwarfing the giant cedars. Your vine ranged west to the sea and east to the river. So why do you no longer protect your vine? Trespassers pick its grapes at will. Wild pigs crash through and crush it, and the mice nibble away at what's left. God of the angel armies, turn our way. Take a good look at what's happened, and attend to this vine. Care for what you once tenderly planted, the vine you raised from a shoot, and those who dared to set it on fire, give them a look that will kill. Then take the hand of your once favorite child, the child you raised to adulthood, who will never turn on your back, who will never turn on back our back on you. Good Lord, who will never turn our back on you. Breathe life into our lungs so we can shout your name. God, O God of angel armies, come back. Smile your blessing, smile. That will be our salvation. The breakdown of Psalms 81 through 19. A cry for restoration. Israel is broken and begging for God to step in, restore them, and bring them to life. The takeaway: when life feels dry or disciplined, don't run. Cry out. God restores what's been torn down. That's good. Proverbs 12:27 through 28. A lazy life is an empty life, but early to rise gets the job done. Lately, I didn't this last week, but I get up at 5 o'clock every morning, and I probably need to start doing these first thing in the morning. Lazy life is an empty life, but early to rise gets the job done. Good men and women travel right into life. Sins devour. Good Lord. Good men and women travel right into life. Sin's detours take you straight to hell. I swear I don't speak like this. Sometimes the Bible gets me tongue tied. Proverbs 12:27 through 28, the breakdown says, lazy people waste what they have. The diligent maximizes it. Righteous living leads to life, not death. The takeaway: God honors effort and discipline. Steward what's in your hand. Be wise with the money and the things and all your time that you have in your hand. If no one told you today, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for jumping on board. If you're not, go ahead and subscribe to it. If there's anything I can do, put it in the comments. I will pray for you daily if you need it. I love you. I love you. I love you. We will see you tomorrow. It will be April 12th. Have a good night.